Yo, what is up you guys? My name is Bruno and today I'm bringing you a new series called Dota 2 vs League of Legends, where we're going to look at the differences between the games and ultimately try to determine which one is better, worse, or if they're equally good. In today's episode we are going to look at Dota 2 and League from a very basic standpoint, mainly looking at things people may notice at first, such as like graphics and stuff, but we won't really look into gameplay at this point. Now let's start by looking at the map. In Dota 2, you notice there are two different sides on the map, one being Radiant and the other being Dire. Basically, Radiant is the one with trees and Dire is the one with dead trees. I personally don't like this very much because coming from League, both sides are exactly the same look-wise and it feels much more fluid to me, instead of having the feeling that you're entering a new territory. But of course, this is just a really minor thing to take note of. In Dota 2, there are also multiple shops throughout the map, whereas in League there is only one shop for each team, which is in each team's base. We won't really be talking about items in this episode. Basically, the extra shops in Dota 2 are used for specific items that you can't buy at your base. You can't buy all the items at the base in Dota 2 like you can in League. Something that I like about Dota 2's map is that you can get skins for the map, and I think this is really cool and lets you customize the game a lot more than you can in League. You can also add weather effects to your map in Dota 2 if you have the skins for it. Other than skins, I think League's map is a lot more pleasant and relaxing to look at than Dota 2's default map, just because it's a bit darker, and it doesn't change from light to day. And I know light and day is actually a big thing, we'll talk about that in gameplay, but it's a lot more relaxing to me, and it reminds me of playing older games such as like Counter-Strike Source, weirdly enough, and a little bit like World of Warcraft. But then again, League doesn't really have any trees on their map, and Dota 2 actually has trees. And these trees actually play into the game a little bit, but we're not going to be talking about that in this video. Now, on to graphics. Dota 2 can look a lot more like a higher end game than League if your settings are up all the way, but I think this is mainly because Dota 2 came out in 2013 and League came out in 2009. Personally, I think both games look nice and this isn't really that big of a deal. It's important to mention that Dota 2's default settings are a bit strange though. With my monitor and anti-aliasing on in Dota 2, my monitor would randomly go white, as you can see in this video clip from my stream. Now call it. Now you can coil it. What is going on? My screen is white. My screen is white. My screen is white. What is going on? I can't see. It's like, restart. Look at this. Look at this. Now maybe I was thinking it was my end, there's something wrong on my end, and Dota 2's anti-aliasing triggers it, but it's weird because in other games like CSGO, having anti-aliasing on runs fine and I don't have any screen problems with it. Another thing weird about Dota 2's graphics are these terrible hero portrait animations. If you didn't check your advanced video settings when you first got the game, you're going to be having a headache while you play the game with these characters jumping around while you're trying to focus. Here's some hero portraits in Dota 2 that trigger me the most, but I'm going to have to say that Timbersaw is the absolute worst one. If I had to stare at this for more than 30 seconds, I'd probably have a seizure. And since we're talking about looks, there are also a lot of ugly Dota 2 characters that trigger me, just face-wise. I mean, look at this new Dota 2 character that got released the other day. Doesn't it just trigger you? That smile, that ugly face, I get triggered instantly. There are, of course, ugly League of Legends characters, but the only one that really triggers me is this one right here, Fizz. He's the reason I have cancer. And finally, let's talk about skills. Not really gameplay, but I like how in Dota 2, you can pick a random character in a normal or bot game and learn how much damage you're able to do with your skills before you even level them up. Unlike in League, you have to mouse over the +1 to skill button in order to see what will happen when you level it up. Dota 2 shows the skills exactly the way you'd want to see them. Sometimes there's a little too much text because of a complex skill, but it's quite helpful overall. If they had this in League, you wouldn't have to go to Mobifier before your LCS match to learn that Morgana's Q does 135 at level 2, for example. Now here's an example of what I'm talking about. I've never played Kayn before, so I just went into this bot game and I have no idea how much damage I'm going to do until I mouse over this +1 to skill button. But in Dota 2, it shows how much damage I'm going to do with the skill by itself before I even level it up, which I think is really awesome. So for episode 1 of Dota 2 vs League, for the look, I'm going to have to say Dota 2 wins this one, mainly because of the skills, and people would probably argue because of the newer graphics. So guys, I'm sorry if you play League, I'm sorry to myself, but round 1 goes to Dota. Guys, make sure to join my Discord, the link is in the description, and stick around to be able to vote on what we talk about in the next video of Dota 2 vs League of Legends. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.